All right, the watch list for Monday, October 10th, 2016. We look at the SPY first, and it's still just in this tight range. So as long as we have no shock events one way or another, we can just kind of go and look at some stocks. So here we go, SPU. Now this is kind of a sleeper pick, but it had a bounce on Thursday from 780 to 934. So that's a really sizable move. This is a crazy stock. It just makes crazy moves at times. Friday was just a quiet inside day, so I do want to watch that for a potential after this, after this pop on Thursday, quiet day Friday, for a potential third day pop. Super low float, and it goes crazy at times, so I'm just going to have it on watch. CRBP, really strong close. It had a couple topping tails if you take Friday's candle out of it. See, it looked like sellers were finally getting a hold of this a little bit, and right back up. So this thing's super strong. We never want to chase, and it's pretty far away from the moving averages, but it doesn't mean, we won't catch a possible trade. And I'll show you like 5-minute candles. I mentioned it right here. Because of the strength it had the last couple days, and you had this early high of right around $9 right here. This was the opening 5-minute candle on Friday, and then it kind of retested it and then did nothing for hours and then worked its way back up right to 9 and was flagging. I typed it in the chat room that it was a decent flag at the high of day plus a possible whole number break, and you can see what happened. It went all the way up almost $1 from there. So that's an example of the kind of things we try to find in chat. A couple other real quick examples before I finish the list. NVFY was on watch for Friday. If you watched our Thursday night video, you saw this was on watch for Friday for a potential bounce, and it got a nice bounce. One of our moderators and my partner in our trading course, Wayne, called this long. About 5 minutes in, over 350. Beautiful call, 351 entry idea. And it just ripped pretty quickly to 410 before going even a little bit higher than that at one point. That's another example of using our watch list and finding a low-risk entry, and that's exactly what Wayne did. Wayne also found ABEO, which was on our watch list. He called this long at 668. Just simply an opening range breakout. This was the opening 5-minute candle, stayed within that 5-minute range for the first 25 or 30 minutes. Wayne called it long at 668, and it gets a quick move to almost 720. Wayne is just invaluable in the chat room. But that's an example when you see stuff on the watch list of the type of entries that we look for. LPCN is also going to be on watch. It gapped up on Friday, has some huge price target on it. Never really got going on that. But you know what? It stayed in its narrow range for the day. 11 million shares. So I definitely want to watch that one on Monday for a possible follow-through day. let me try that again. IPCI looks good anyway. If you just look at the chart, right? Resistance around 240, nice volume coming in. But then in after hours, it ripped. And it last I saw was around 360 in after hours. So all the way up here. So it is just going to be on watch for a gap play. Now, is it gapping too much? And is it a better short than a long? We have no idea, right? But I'll watch it. I'm going to treat it as a potential long. And it has to meet my parameters. If it doesn't, I just simply won't trade it, okay? Try that again. AUPH. Let's go back to the daily chart. Had a huge gap up on Thursday and ended up closing below its open. Also gapped down on Friday, but had a nice bounce. So closed below its open again. So this goes on what I call bounce watch, even though technically you could argue it's a strong stock, right? Because just a few sessions ago it was $3 and now it's at 470. But after the gap up, sellers got a hold of it. I think it's worth watching for potential long. I don't have an entry idea right now, based on the chart. I have to see how it opens. But I think this one might catch a bid on Monday. And again, we only trade these with a proper intraday setup, so this one definitely goes on watch. CRMD had a nice 2-day rally here from like 250 to over 320, and now it's pulled back for a couple days on lower volume. So looking for that one to turn back up on Monday again, only with a proper intraday setup. SMMT gapped up, I don't know, that was probably Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday, and ran to almost 20, and now it's been selling for 4 days in a row. We don't have a gap fill yet. We don't know if we're ever going to get one, but I think it's time to start watching this one. It's close to the recent highs, which would have been a breakout here, but anyway, it's worth watching for a turn back up one of these days. So that one's going to go on bounce watch. Sears Holdings, SHLD, which Sears actually reminds me of a Smart Tech in 40-year-old Virgin. If you ever walked through a Sears lately, there's not a lot going on in there. It's a bunch of salesmen sitting around clowning around because it's pretty desolate. But who knows? Maybe they're going to turn around. But they did, I think, have rumors or maybe actual news of selling a division, their tool division, I think, to Black & Decker. Don't email me if I got anything wrong in that statement. I just remember seeing that last week, something like that. As a trader, I don't really care, other than it had a nice pop, and now it's pulled back for 3 days. It's got support at 11, so this one might just turn back, and it does squeeze at times. As you can see here, when the announcement came out, or the rumor, whichever one it was, it went from 11.25 to 13.69. So when I have a stock that I see can move like that, and now it's pulled back 3 days, it's a pretty good chance that one could turn and get a nice rip one day soon. And then ASIX, I kind of like stocks that are kind of recent new issues, had a big move and then sold off, and now it looks like it put in a lower high on the daily and had a nice pop on Friday. So just looking for a potential follow through on this one. We'll also be looking for potential gap plays in addition to the IPCI gap play that we can find on Monday morning. So I'm going to leave it at that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you on Monday.